Oh, ladies and Germans, how are you all doing? This is Con Ulrich.
And I'm Ringru. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, the continuing coverage of the SD2 Season 1 League. Today we are looking on Orsha East, that rather kind of zit-looking map, which now that I look at the map, kind of looks like an octopus if you squint.
Holy crap, it kind of does.
Actually more like a dualpus, but the idea is there. Maybe a gingerbread man. But anyway, Rang, before I get too hungry, who's fighting and what are they bringing to the table?
I'm glad you can't see me because I look like an idiot squinting, but nonetheless, on the left-hand side in blue we have Spanischer Ritter playing 20th Panzer with balanced income. And on the right-hand side we have a very angry bird playing 26th Strelkovy with a Vanguard income.
Indeed. Now, one thing I'm always going to complain about is I like Spanischer Ritter as a player, but I hate his Ostroupen openings.
They don't really work, Ostroupen, I find. Personally, yeah.
Not in this game. I would say on, numero uno, on the Western Front, sure, because all you have to do there is worry about territory, but here, it's a little harder to hold 51-49 or 50-50.
Yeah, I do feel like the reserve infantry, the disheartened infantry are no longer as uber tier as they were in SD44.
And maybe part of that too is that I feel like the engagement distances over here are just so much greater than they were on SD44.
Yes, and the more chances to get shot at by tanks and infantry guns from 2 kilometers. Support weapons are very important now.
Indeed, they are. Now, I'm looking at just like the concentration of firepower in the center here for Spanischer Ritter. It's interesting. He's got PaK-40s, he's got Zis guns, captured Zis guns. He's really quite concerned about the 26 going a lot of vehicles early.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good concern. 26 can bring out those KV tanks, which can be a pain in the ass with a rather thick armor. But, yeah, I'm really interested to see how... We've seen Spanischer, like a few weeks back, trade 20th Panzer. It went pretty terribly for him. Pretty much he played an open map and just didn't have the open AT capabilities to really deal with it. But let's see how it works out. It's very interesting to see someone try to play a balanced income with 20th. It's using more of a Vanguard Maverick A-phase, B-phase rush. So we'll see how it goes. AngryBird's got a very good deck. It's a good deck for this map. It's CQC, you can use infantry support KVs, the strokey, the guard spam, you have the heavy artillery, but yeah, we'll see how it goes.
It's been so interesting for me to kind of watch the early meta, basically for openings, especially for Russians, to say, oh, Ognamachiki, they have just enough, drive power, let's call it. That road speed being 105, I couldn't even come up with the number at the top of my head. They pretty much guarantee that initial land grab, which I never really kind of appreciated until today.
Yeah, those American horses are extremely powerful. It's a really interesting dynamic, because the Russians have the Jeep advantage with their small infantry, as they can get to the point first, but in terms of general transports, the Opel Blitz is much faster than the Studebaker, so the German regular infantry usually beats out the Russian regular infantry and get into the front.
Is it pathetic that I just realized just now that DZHIP literally is just probably the pigeon version of Jeep?
Yeah, that's literally what it is.
We've been doing this game for I don't know how many months now. I did not even put that together. It's so sad.
You learn something new every day.
Indeed. I'm happy I got to learn it with you. But the Ostroupen coming on in, but of course, when you have a lot of flame and fire there, you don't really want to carry on too much.
Yeah, Pat's a really good position with those Okamachikis. That's just halting the Ostroupen from moving up, allowing these rather thick Strafniki Scrotch to get to the front line and deliver the insane firepower. Heck, even our snipers actually getting in on the action.
And one thing I do appreciate, the sniper squads aren't quite as OP as they used to be in terms of suppression.
Yeah, they're very different on SD44.
They were absurd. Let's not forget there's a 2-star 82 mil stovepipe over here from the Russians that's completely shutting down this central German push.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Ostroupen never really got that great in terms of infantry firepower, especially against Strafniki. So this is a great opener here from AngryBird. I mean, looking up north as well, AngryBird is playing the forest for Rao.
And I think he's trying to counter battery. I thought he was kind of trying to counter battery that northern IG-18, but nope, he's shooting a little further south. But you called it. We do have some early vehicles coming out from the Russians. In fact, it's just a single T-34 and a very early Studebaker up to the north. So interesting that we do see a supply truck in A, because as we've talked about recently, with the patch from so long ago, it is going to be rather devastating in terms of overall card supply.
Yes. You just don't get many supply trucks anymore, so taking an A-phase supply truck card is costly.
To say the least,
But
yes.
necessary, I'd say, because if you have like a tank knocked out, like if you have a damaged tank in A-phase and you don't have a supply truck, you don't have to wait around 5 minutes.
You know, I realized that the Germans didn't really believe too much in snipers, but I always feel like there should be a sniper squad someplace.
Yes, it's usually my little Jaeger, like, light infantry division to say have here. But the Russians gave everyone a sniper.
Yes, they certainly seem to. The Stavniki definitely pinned down to be a perfect time for the Osttroopen to make themselves actually useful by charging. But they're going to try to go and just lay down some suppression fire, and this could be a brilliant mortar shot. Oh, lucky for them, they dropped out of the trucks. You bring him to just a smidge too early.
Yep, that's a pretty good hit here of the Ron 20 from Spanischer. But, AngryBird, he's continuing to plowing through and getting those guard squads very close to Spanischer's front line.
I'm kind of fascinated to see what happens when the smoke clears, because this Pack 40, I think, should have line of sight pretty much up that road.
Yeah.
Oh, no, T-34's pulling off. Okay, lucky for him.
That's a very ballsy spot for the Pack 40. Out in the open, very close to the front line. That's risky, man. That's very risky.
Yeah, but the weird thing is I feel like Pack 40s almost have become... Not quite an IG-18, but I think like a direct version of the IG-18, I guess. If that makes any sense.
You saying that good?
I'm saying that it's such a unique role that they play, and while they have a little more durability, I think just because they're able to be more multi-purpose, you almost kind of let them get away with it.
Yeah, they're pretty decent in the infantry support row, considering it's an AT gun. This risky have a little bit more HE shells.
That's a very delicate way of saying, you're not quite right, comp, I'll let you get away with it, which, you know what, I'm proud that you do. Panzer Grenadiers to the front, and now as the Osttruppen fall back, the last remaining shreds of what used to be an infantry squad, we actually do have Pigrins coming in with Panzerfausts, and I can't help but feel that we're going to see a very quick Panzerfaust at this T-34. Guys, go to the next house.
Bit. Come on, hands, let's move up a little bit. Yeah, we're all just crazy infantry fight going on. Spanischer is bringing up a Panzer III-L to try and deal with his T-34. Both are 2 self-veterancy, so it's a pretty even fight. And oh god, that was a lot of red flags being thrown up here.
Yeah, it was really quite well done. The Studebaker, as you might... Ooh, wait, is that... Oh, it's an IS-1 coming in super early.
Oh boy.
Big investment. That's a power play right there.
Good call. It's a very tough tank for 20th Panzer to really deal with. I mean, they're the best bet. They both just killed each other.
Yeah. I hate to see that. I see another column coming in from the Reds. Just more guard squads, as you might suspect. It's a B4203 on the map as well. Hugging the map. Hugging the edge, rather.
That's an early 203. You can only get like 1 per card in A-phase with that, so... He really wants to have the artillery, and he wants it now.
This certainly sounds like it. Check into the north real quick. Yep, the Germans just kind of hanging out. I think we're not going to see much more than just containment from Spanischer Ritter, at least early on. And here's Osttruppen as well. I'm sorry, yes, sir?
Yeah, AngryBird, he has the Maverick income advantage, so it does make pretty good sense. He's making all these good head rays, but he's doing really good in terms of long game potential as well. That Northern Forest is very bountiful to hold on to, and usually pretty easy unless you get a little bit surrounded there by some peasy grins. But AngryBird, he's got momentum. I mean, he's just bringing out this whole platoon's worth of infantry.
Not uncommon. I guess the thing I'm going to be interesting to see is that these guard squads, like, they're just going to steamroll the Pigrins, do you think?
If I get in close, I have a pretty good chance.
I can't help but wonder... Ooh, there's another P3L going to be brought on in. Where are the... Yep, here come the mortars. The mortars are going to start to shell that town yet again. I will say this begins to look like an old school SD game for us, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of infantry, a lot of, just like small tank play. Nothing too crazy. Both sides just, infantry and artillery, king of battle.
I'm taking a look at it over here from Spanischer Ritter's side, and I'm trying to figure out what I'd be doing in his particular case. I'm fascinated by we have this 45 mil, this captured Russian gun on his left. That's doing quite well because of T-34 from this side. IS-1 is still owning the center. But how would you try to go and clean up this left patch of the Russians?
You mean up, like, north?
Map north, yes.
Artillery it from orbit and try to have some pioneer infantry in B phase to clean it up. He probably doesn't have any, like, CQC infantry in A phase, I guess, so that's really a B phase problem, trying to deal with that forest.
Actually, what's going to be a real problem here is that the Germans go and lose their... If they start getting stressed out, this entire thing's going to go very, very poorly for them.
Yeah. This is just, human race tactics from both sides here in the middle.
Now, well, they're Austria, but he doesn't really much care about that, does he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh, 2 P3Ls. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, very, very light tank play from 20th Panzer. Really just using only P3Ls. So I'm guessing you might have some more B phase, C phase tanks, probably just a lot of Panzer Force. Still no Boita IS-2. Last time we've seen Spanisher play, he didn't have a Boita IS-2, so I'm thinking it's going to be the same thing. So it's going to be a pirate-free match, probably.
One certainly wonders that, but there are... Whatever he's doing... Oh, wow, he actually can... He picked up some more territory. Where did he pick that up? Oh, that's southern town-ish.
Yeah. Yeah. And the southern side, like, is completely quiet. Both sides are just, they set up on their retrospective roads and just, chilling out. Spanisher is starting to move up just a wee bit, the regular PC grunge.
We've got nothing really to worry about. Yeah, there's this guns there. Yes, it's gonna suck. But when all is said and done, big stinking deal. And the IS-1 goes down. I think that was on the the PAC-40.
Damn, that PAC-40 paid off.
I would say so. He's got very little in the way of HE shells anymore. Is an IG-18 coming forward? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, though, that hero is not going to last much longer.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with that PAC-40. It's, like I said, it's really ballsy position to put it in, but it paid off in the end. Yeah, AngryBird is just completely, he's going to be king of the hill very soon if he keeps us up.
Yes, but he's had his biggest chance to kind of have that knockout blow, and I don't think he's done enough damage. I mean, Phase B, he's going to start to drop off. He's going to get weaker and weaker the entire time. And now, what's coming in? Okay, well, Opel Blitz go after for the mortars. We have Pioneers with SVTs coming in. We have an entire other column of Osttruppen. We have... I don't know. I think this is where the comeback begins for Spanisher.
Yeah, I think for Spanisher, his best bet is probably to try to, do a southern play, get some tanks downtown, some recon units, and try to capture some easy flags down here instead of trying to fight over the Hamburger Hill of the mid.
This certainly seems to be a good question.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of, it's been... Ooh. What killed that P3? Was that a PTRD?
I have no idea, but I'm gonna guess so. Or maybe a T-34. It was something Russian over here.
By the way, there are 2 P3Ls up north. I'm curious to see what happens when those guys really get moving.
Yeah, they've been there for a while. Chilling out.
And this P3 is going to die pretty quickly. The question is how many he can take before he does. And the answer to that is apparently very little.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but, it does seem like AngryBird's pretty much king of the hill now. And, high ground is a very good position, and it's usually a pretty easy position to hold. If he can put some AT guns on the far side of that hill, you can pretty easily stop anyone from coming up it.
You certainly can. I guess the question is how much suppression can be done. We actually see 3 squads of Russian infantry, 2 guards and a Strofniki going into that town. Super ballsy play. I love it.
Yeah.
Long-term prognosis isn't great, but all he needs to do is just hold him there for a couple of minutes and get some more ticket damage done here.
Yeah, this is like AngryBird's doing exactly what he needs to do. He's fighting the infantry fight in the middle, and he wins the infantry fight against 20th Panzer. 20th Panzer does not have a lot of infantry units to spare, so this is what AngryBird needs to do. Is what I'm trying to say in many words.
Now, here's the beginning of those P4s, and plenty of Pioneers coming in. Oof, but that B4203, he's looking to find that artillery park, and I think if the Germans don't re-sight, they're going to lose their mortars pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, you may not want to have them out in the open, especially considering you have 203mm shells being dropped on top of your arse.
And the tanks can see them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yikes.
Yeah, big yikes. I mean, shoot the supply truck and try to knock that out.
I am further amused by the fact that we have 3 squads of Pioneer SVTs that are going to completely take back this town.
Yeah. The semi-auto rifles, man. Semi-auto rifles. But yeah, that's one of the, like, few like, really good infantry units that you have with 20th, and you really have to rely on those Pioneer SVTs for CQC firefights. He's also bringing a few up north and actually making a northern push now. It's only really Ogam and Shiki in here, and some Avtos, so the Pioneers actually have a pretty good chance of clearing this out.
Well, especially with the off-position support of those P3Ls.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah.
And it looks like, yep, well, KV-85s are coming in, so we got 2 of those bad boys going right up the gut. Taking a little more of a defensive position, trying to prevent the Germans kind of retaking that summit. And probably a good plan, too.
Yeah. Yeah, AngryBird just needs to keep on the pressure. I mean, he's not at the +2 lead that he was a little bit earlier, but if he keeps this up, he has a pretty good chance of holding out till the victory. Even though he does have the worst income later on, his deck, depends on how you build it, even with like an A-phase build, does have better attrition, I would argue, compared to a balanced 20th Panzer, especially in infantry.
Certainly true. I guess the thing that I'm curious about is if the Germans can work the flanks, which suddenly seems to be sort of the case, will that be enough to balance out for this kind of devastating position that you're in right now?
Yeah, like, southern flank would be his best, but he did actually manage to grab one flag all the way down south. That's pretty good. If he can capture other flag in the southern area where the Panzer strike is, that would be another pretty easy position, and once you hold that, you can start making your way up north and try to get back on the hill through that angle.
I guess I'm also surprised that there's absolutely no Soviet material being plugged to the north to kind of back things up.
Yep, I mean, he doesn't have any AT weapons up north. Well, he has the Avtomachikis, but it's going to be a little bit hard.
Yeah, I was going to say, yes, they technically have anti-tank stuff, but do you really feel insured when that happens?
No, it's more like, oh, my AT grenades did something. That's nice. I wasn't expecting that. It's like a pleasant surprise when it happens. But he might be able to sneak up and kill one of these P3s.
It is possible, and that would be just so painful to watch. But that looks like that's going to happen.
It'd be very painful for the P3.
Never mind, he just barely misses them. Meanwhile, the P3s, I think, are going to get some great shots looking down that road. So when those Superiors come up, they're going to get creamed.
Oh, yeah.
And Kreisov is coming on in as well, so the Su-85 is loaded for bear.
And he's even got the extra side armor of all the logs.
You know what? I have never really taken a look at that, but you're absolutely right. That's awesome.
Yeah. Wouldn't be a Soviet tank without a log, you know.
Well, they have to log the changes everywhere they can.
Yep.
You know, Hamburger Hill is continuing rather hamburgery.
Yeah, we got a bit of like a long-range tank fight here with Panzer IVs, shoot out with KV-85s at, well, a long distance. But AngryBird's holding. He's holding well.
Certainly seems to be. Checking in the north. Northern infantry is still fairly healthy. You know, look at the Superiors. Unique position for them. They're going to be dropped off on the upper, I don't know what to call it, the upper plateau of that hill.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as amusing as the fact that the Soviet mortars just took out their own troops. Painful.
Painful. Very, very painful indeed. Well, so Spanisher has completely captured that northern forest, and that's definitely going to buy him some time, but he's going to run into Khrushchev, however you say it, and, oh no, we'll see how it goes.
Well, one P4 is shooting the wrong way. Or P3, rather. He's going after the infantry. My friend, your own companion...
No, I think he barely... Now he has line of sight. Or, no, he lost line of sight. Got like that little forest in front of the SU-85.
Kind of weird to think that he can't see the SU-85 because of the trees. There we go. Crew killed.
Good hit, yeah, Leonard.
But 1311, Germans seem to be reinforcing their successes down below. There is a bit of a... Wow, it's rather unique. What's the Russian term for a Kampfgruppen?
Oh, it's, you know, like those battle groups, Turanian and whatnot.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, it's like a Russian Kampfgruppe in a sense.
Well, I mean, we have a rather unique position here. Yes, we have basically a couple of P-Grunt squads and a... Ooh, the Shrek is trying to come in and around. This is going to be difficult, to say the least. But even if we can take out one of those KV-85s, that will be more than enough. Especially when we have two more tanks coming into the south. We have another one going into the center. Yep, this is becoming a knockdown, drag-out fight. And yes, while I would say the 26 normally would be a much heavier and much more attritional deck, quality has to go to the Germans.
Yeah, he does. He's running out a lot of these Panzer IVs now, and he probably has that Panzer IV Spanish, B phase, C phase cards, and in a tank fight, Spanisher does have the advantage. The Panzer IVs are usually, you know, a bit more well equipped to do with the KVs, in a sense, in terms of like gun armor. Well, not armor, but in terms of veterancy and stuff. Anyway, he got a lot of Panzer IVs.
So it is almost as devastating to watch as these Peakrens were putting the spank down over here on the Superiors in the open. And at long last, we actually see some air power.
Oh yeah, there's airplanes in this game. Got just the Yak 9 and something German before I didn't catch its name.
ME-109 ground attack.
Here we go. Thank you, Carl.
You're welcome.
Get my eyes in the sky.
Which is funny, because I have terrible eyesight, you know, IRL. But alright. So, P-Shrek is going to take one look at the infantry charging up the hill and go, ah! And run the other direction, I would hope.
Nope, he's gonna charge him head on. And he's gonna die head on.
And along with head-on tactics, we actually have a P4 with transmission damaged and the gun jammed is charging up the hill.
There we go.
You brave bloody idiot.
He's gonna run them over, that's what he's gonna do. But now he's gonna try and run them over backwards. And he's probably gonna die to that KV-85.
No doubt there. Taking a look back into the south to see how the ultimate cheeky push went, and it's going to go quite well as the P-Grens are going to get caught out by absolute obscene amounts of PPS's. And P4s, they're starting to engage? No, it's actually we have a northern Pac 40 engaging these KV-85s and the T-34s at long range and doing God's work there.
Just look at that, like, yeah, it's such a lovely spot for our Pac 40 here. High ground, forest cover, he's just going to town now.
You know, that's one of those things I kind of wish we had seen more of in the first game, was just having elevation matter.
Yeah, because there wasn't any elevation. There's like one or two maps that had like a slight bump in them, but apart from that, it's just, you know.
But, by the way, we are in 1311 in favor of the Germans. The town to the south has fallen. And now the Germans are actually pushing.
Yeah, it's just Spanisher did make the rise call of actually pushing the flanks. He still hasn't captured the hill, but he's pushing around the hill. So that's this is what you need to do, guys. If you get push heavy one area, you start pushing the others.
Almost it's interesting to me that for a guy with a name like AngryBird, you'd expect him to have a little bit more air power, but that does not seem to be the case.
No, it does not. I know with 26, you do get access to cluster bomb planes, so maybe one or two of them would be pretty useful.
Almost as amusing as the fact that we've seen absolutely no anti-air. Now, given we've seen no air in the first place, but all the same.
Yeah, we got 2-star runner 9 Jewel on it, Rufliak. Probably gonna go to the runner 9, I guess. But in front, you got actually some fire support.
Yep, especially when the other guy runs.
Here we go. 109 gonna kill him. Easy peasy. But yeah, this is definitely where it's starting to get a little bit harder for AngryBird in terms of attrition. He's probably starting to run out of tanks by now. Infantry still has a pretty good shot, but he does. Yeah, he's bringing up more airplanes now. He's got an IL-237 up north, going in for the strafe, and does nothing.
Wow, he didn't even stress them out.
I think he lost line of sight and stopped shooting, missed completely. And now there's a 109 in his ass.
A little bit terrifying to see the fact that we have a hit squad of Soviet infantry. 3 Superiors. We have the Ultima Cheeky that's been there since the first seconds of this match.
They're still behind enemy lines. Yeah.
And one ME-109 did go down, but Grosslin, the same hero of before, he might be getting a gun run at the IL-2. I think he's going to pick him up here.
Yeah. Real tough birds to shoot down.
Hombre, I would have run a long time ago. He is pushing his luck.
He really is. IL-2, he's determined to stay over this area.
He's going to get maybe one more run.
Does he... What is he... Is he strafing the IG-18?
I think it's maybe he was doing it like attack round.
Oh, yeah, that's probably it. And now he's really attacking the ground.
Yeah, he was headbutting it, and unfortunately the ground did not blink. Ju-87 to the south, by the way, going after, I think, one of these anti-tank guns.
I'm always happy to see the bomber Ju-87. It's not the clusters, not the gun runners, just regular bombers, you know?
Well, it's a throwback.
Yeah. And there we go, Jericho horns and everything, and kaboom.
Is that they call them Jericho horns?
Yeah, when it does the
scream?
Yeah. They didn't actually... Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
They didn't actually have them equipped on planes by this time on the Eastern Front, even though they were intimidating. The problem was the Russians eventually got used to it, quote unquote, and they just give them a headshot to duck.
That's funny and yet just completely heart-wrenching at the same time.
Yeah. Also, I think it made the plane slightly slower, so we gotta have speed.
Another IL-2 comes in and takes out that P3 to the north. I do not believe he's going to make it out alive. However, this does put the German territory to the north in kind of a weird position, as we have almost a full company of Soviet infantry behind their lines.
Yep. This is very bizarre. I'm actually rather surprised that he doesn't have this under control, AngryBird, but I guess it's those 2 Panzer Grenadiers all the way up north that is keeping the line secure, so to speak.
Well, and AngryBird continues to have a blithe indifference about his own aircraft's lives. For me, I would have pulled the IL-2 back a good long time ago, especially when I have no anti-air.
Also, buying anti-air would be a very good idea for AngryBird.
I completely agree there.
Yeah. It's just good use of air power from both sides now. I'm liking this a lot. And more stickers. There we go.
Oh wow, I didn't even see that until it was too late. So the supply truck goes down, and we have the support P4s dueling with the KV-85. So this is only going to go one way.
They got a shooter knocked out in one of them at least, and the other one just gets sniped by a PTRD. Or AD gun, something along those lines.
No, you're probably right, the PTRDs. I'm not sure that the pack had no... Oh, maybe it's this? Whatever. But 1311 with... Actually, that infantry to the north going down, courtesy of those P grunts, is shooting up that charging Studebaker truck. The Germans are... Still...
Please. No, it still feels like anyone's game.
Yeah, I was actually going to make that comment. Like, it looks like the Germans are resurgent, but I wouldn't, put my money on it immediately.
Like, both sides, I mean, the Strelkovy right now, it's still pretty neck on neck. I mean, Spanischer is much lower in terms of point value, but still, I mean, this requires one big breakthrough from either side, and I think that'll be it.
The weird thing is right now we're seeing things like down below, Spanischer Ritter has one Panzerstruck squad that, of course, cannot hold frontline territory, so he's just kind of twiddling his thumbs as the front lines just go the other direction.
Yeah, we got some... Oh, we got a hero P4 down south, Mr. H. Hoth.
Yep, Mr. Hoth.
Mr. Hoth with his fancy P4.
Helmut. A quintessential Saxon name there.
I really do like how the P4s look, especially like the H models with all the side skirts. It looks very boxy. Like a quintessential tank.
Yeah,
big
but
rolling box.
Despite the fact that armor is still papier-mâché, like, you're right. There's a certain kind of like deadliness to it.
Yeah, it's also like pretty impressive. They kept the Panzer IV running. I mean, by this point of the war, it's been in service for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that the Germans really fought the war with stuff that was completely out of date. I don't know. I thought you were going to actually object to that one, so I'm just surprised you completely agree with me there.
I don't know. But, yeah.
KV-85 claims another victim as they bring in another tank. And to the north, I think we're probably going to see a P4 getting forced to surrender as a Ju-87 takes out some Russian infantry.
Yeah, that's a dead P4. And, I feel like AngryBird is kind of actually run out of infantry, but he doesn't have his crazy spam in the middle anymore, and Spanischer has managed to secure a foothold on the hill. So I think this is probably going to be Spanischer's game from what it seems.
I wouldn't count it out yet. We have seen that kind of thing before, though. You're also seeing, just bit by bit, these outposts being overrun, pinched out from basically either side. And as much as I want to go and say that there's a chance, I think you might be right. I think this might, in fact, be a game for our boys in blue.
Yeah, Spanischer's, like, he's got the tank spam out now. He's just been spamming, like, he's P4 F-runs, he's got P3Ns, and he's got them with, like, 2-star veterancy, too. He's not playing around here with, the veterancy. And it's working. I mean, these P3s and P4 support tanks on the hill is perfect territory for them. Close range, good infantry support guns, can stun up tanks quickly with a fast fire rate.
Can we talk about this actually real quick? We have a Ju-87 making a bombing run. This is maneuver warfare at its best, because now we have the quick drop out of infantry on the front lines. We have the bombing run coming in right now.
There we go. And
a bit of a whiff.
We got a second one now. And AngryBird, where the hell is your anti-air?
I'm not sure he believes in that.
And the other JU, yeah, there we go. Doesn't kill the KV-85, but it's definitely going to be running back home.
By the way, the brave P-grunts behind the enemy lines up to the north, I think their time has come.
Yeah, they're now behind enemy lines, but they're still holding. They're probably going to die, yeah, AngryBird losing by the +2 now, so... Yeah.
And what's dancing down the... Ooh, whoa, I didn't even see that.
down south and actually gets a kill. 50-50 works. And it's probably going to die.
Which is very lucky. It's actually much lighter price than Spanisher could have paid with that.
Yeah. That was not a raw trade for Angry.
KV-85 in the center goes down. Could not tell you to what, because it doesn't seem like anything there is actually heavy enough to take it out. But with that, where are the Russian tanks?
I think they all went kaboom.
I didn't know that was a holiday that the Slavs recognized.
They all went to the kaboom, honey. I don't know where they are.
They said they were going for a quart of elbow grease and some highlighter fluid.
Highlighter fluid as well, you know. Got to refill the highlighters when they run out.
I meant to say headlight fluid, but they made about just as much sense in the first place.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's just more and more tanks are rolling off the front lines, and now we have, it's just constant bombing coming on in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this Spanisher, he's actually made like a pretty decent 20th Panzer attrition deck. I'm surprised, honestly. I didn't really think he could make it work so well, but he's got the tanks rolling in, and he has enough infantry to get things done.
He was assisted by a couple of things, like his opponent kind of fixating a lot on one area. I feel like, we talk about this pretty consistently as well, that while Spanisher saw that there was going to be a slowdown, to say the least, he started going after the flanks. And the Russians could definitely have done that just as successfully. I think they're just about 5 or 6 minutes too slow in realizing that.
Yeah, AngryBird spent a lot of resources holding that hill. Maybe a little bit too much. He really sort of diverted stuff up north and down south to help secure those areas. Also, AngryBird, seriously, you need to actually buy anti-aircraft units. Thank you. He's got an M15 now. He's got something. But letting Spanisher just fly around willy-nilly and just drop all those bombing runs with Stukas really hurt AngryBird's front line by a lot.
Well, he might lose a couple more squads right here. It's the lone guard. The dead guard. Did he call the bombing run in time? He did. Oof, this could be super bad. And not in a Seth Rogen kind of way. But that being said, that was, again, I feel like we had maybe like a rope-a-dope kind of thing going on here with Spanischer Ritter. Just kind of getting pounded for about 20 minutes.
Yep.
Also,
and the pounders came.
Looking to the north as we have two superior squads huddling in the forest as everyone else marches on by, and I think here comes another point or two over here in favor of the Germans as those peak run squads come back into supply.
And
wow. An AngryBird taps. And yeah, I mean, the KD was not really a massive swing in either direction.
No, it's pretty back and forth. Looking at the chronology, from 9 minutes till 11 minutes, a lot of German things die. But then after that, it's pretty back and forth. There's some streaks here and there.
You know, the strange thing, too, is that if you look at the kills and losses, for the most part, there's a couple, vague standouts. Like, there's a Grossland, the ME-109, that was the 2 Iron Cross guy. He's got 4 kills. But outside of that, I mean, we have 1 infantry squad in the Russians who takes out a good number. We have 1 tank over there that takes out a good number. No real standouts. It's a lot of trades back and forth.
Yeah, there's a real slugging match between both sides. But, Spanisher managed to hold on longer. He run the attrition warfare.
Indeed, he did. But folks, with that in mind, congratulations to our Spanish knight, and unfortunately, a bit of commiseration for our Russian red over here. But I guess until next time, this is Conalwork.
I'm Rangru. Take it easy.